Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Thoughts Rain podcast. Today is Saturday, January 6th. And we're very excited because this is actually our very first podcast. And we have so many things to talk about today. What we have in our lineup today is we're going to actually talk. Colin and I are going to actually break down the NFL playoffs. We're going to actually do our picks, choose our picks, and choose who is actually going to win the Super Bowl. Along with that, we're also going to go ahead and talk about the college playoffs and finals as well too. We're going to pick and choose who is actually going to win between Alabama and Georgia. So watch out for that. But before I begin and start, I would like to go ahead and throw a shout out to our guys over at Podgely. Thank you very much for sponsoring our very first episode here. We appreciate it very much. If many of you who do not know who Podgely is, they actually provide affordable, lightning-fast web hosting services. Go ahead and check out all their plans and features at www.podgely.com. That is www.podgily.com. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my co-host here, as well as our producer as well too. The gentleman sitting on my left here is our co-host, Colin McManaman.
Hello.
The nice-looking gentleman at the very end of the table there is our producer, Cameron Soderstrom. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just jump right in to our topics here. So, all right. So, Colin, NFL playoffs is here. And, our picks, you and I have always been on opposite sides of the spectrum or opposite sides of the table here as to what teams we believe is actually going to win the Super Bowl. And
not the Vikings or the Rams.
All right, so we're actually going to go ahead and pick today's top game as well too. Titans and Chiefs are actually playing today, this afternoon, and then later on tonight, the Falcons are actually going to be playing at the Los Angeles Rams. So what is your pick for the Titans and Chiefs?
Chiefs, too much of a good defense at home. Titans, I love Marcus, but I don't think he's seasoned enough to go on the road and win a playoff game in his first try. I say Chiefs 23-10.
Come on, man.
I know, I'm sorry.
You got to be that Duck fan.
I'm sorry. But I don't think that the
your
Chiefs
supporter?
really can do it.
Where's yours? I guess you have no support for Marcus. Well, with that being said, I'm also going to have to agree with you as well, too. I love Marcus Mariota. Unfortunately, he has no run support at all, I believe.
Okay, whoa. I don't know about
He's
that.
a runner.
I think Derrick Henry is solid.
Yeah, but you're thinking about the Chiefs here. They're playing at Arrowhead as well, too. I'm just afraid that...
I think you keep it close. It'll be 17-7 or 17-10 and going to the fourth.
Yeah, or I'm thinking maybe more like a last field goal win with the Chiefs, 2017 or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. But definitely, I agree with you. For the Chiefs, they just have too much on both sides of the ball. They have, if Alex Smith can play like how he did the very first few games of the season, where he was like one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the league, I think he's gonna. I think they're going to win.
Do you think if they lose, he'll be gone?
Alex Smith? I think so. Because they already got the next heir apparent they drafted this year.
I don't trust the new kid, Patrick.
I definitely think and agree with you that the Chiefs are going to win. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, which is tonight's game, which is the Rams versus the Falcons, and they are actually going to be playing in LA as well too. So what is your pick on that?
Falcons by a landslide. I was telling Chris the other day that the Rams and the Vikings are overrated because they have a very easy schedule and they beat no real teams consistently, day in, day out. So I think the Falcons go in there and just handle the Rams. I'm talking 24-6 or 24-3. Matt Ryan is going to be better than Jared Goff any day of the week.
Yeah.
And Todd Gurley is okay, but not against a good seasoned NFL team like that.
All right. I'll take that. But I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I think Los Angeles is actually the real deal. They have probably by far the best defense of tackle in the game. But
Easy.
Do you think the
But-
Rams are probably trying to mark up Julio Jones? You gonna try to take him out of the game?
I think so. They'll probably double team him for sure, like most teams do that are smart. But you see Matt Ryan doing a lot is he forces it to Julio a lot, and even though Julio does make a lot of nice plays off of that, I still think that the Rams are going to win this game. I'm not going to say that they're going to dominate this game, but I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I'm probably going to say maybe a touchdown.
Okay, well, how about this? The NFC West, I think, is one of the easiest conferences because the Seahawks were dicey this year, the Cardinals were trash, and the Niners are trash, right? Then you have the NFC South, where 3 teams are in the playoffs. So the Falcons had to play 6 games against good opponents. The Rams had 6 games against so-so opponents in regards to conference wins. So I think the Falcons, I think anybody in the NFC South, whoever wins that is going to be the favorite moving on to the next round, I think, regardless. No matter what, Vikings or Eagles, either way. NFC South is a real deal.
Christopher, you just think the Rams are just gonna take the defending NFC champs?
I think so. I mean, it's like we can't compare last year to this year. I mean,
Why not? Because if
it's totally different teams. It's totally different teams, and you have a completely new head coach in McVay in the Rams, and they're building a brand new culture there. They have players. They have Sammy Watkins on the outside, Jared Goff, who we all wrote off as being the biggest bust quarterback since the guy drafted out of Oakland, Jamarcus Russell, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but Goff has actually turned it around.
No, I agree. I think the Rams are a good team, but it's not this year, not yet. They have to do
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
Well,
more
tonight's
years.
game is actually going to go ahead and determine that. So I'm actually excited to
Falcons,
see what's
folks.
going on.
I'm looking at the camera. Falcons by a landslide.
So we both got the Chiefs for this morning's game.
Yep.
And
We're
But
split.
shout
We'll
out to
we'll
Marcus,
split.
though.
splits.
Yeah, and Marcus Mariota. Hopefully,
Best of luck.
best
Stay
of luck to
healthy
you.
at least.
Best of luck to you today. So we're gonna go ahead and go to tomorrow's matchup on Sunday, which is actually a game that I'm very interested in watching, which is the Bills and the Jaguars.
The only
Jaguars-
reason I'm interested in watching the game is because Bills Mafia is
Alive and
point.
well.
They're on point.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm actually picking the Bills on this one because I actually do not believe in Blake Bortles at all. I don't think he's a quarterback that can win you a playoff game. Even though their defense is lights out, they remind me a lot of that Ravens team. Remember with Trent Dilfer? Really good defense, but average quarterback play, decent running back play. But Fournette, I think, is actually hurt and nursing like an ankle injury. So if he's able to go, then maybe. On the other side of the ball, if Shady plays today, I think they really have a good chance. And also Tyrod Taylor as well too. If he has some ounce of being able to play like Russell Wilson, they might they'll win.
I think that the Bills win because, as you mentioned, the Jaguars' D is unstoppable, but the Bills don't rely on their offense to win games. They have a solid defense, and they just squeak out 3 points here and there.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that, again, the Jaguars are overrated as well. Same thing as the Rams, same thing as the Vikings. When you have a crap year the year before, your schedule is super weak. So, again, I think they've played a bunch of teams that they should have beat, and they did beat, but against the big boys, they're not going to win. So, this frustrates me so much with the NFL, the fact that if you have a bad year the next few years, your schedule is very easy because think of this happen where you have the Jaguars, Vikings, and Rams who are all in favorable positions just because the schedule is easier.
Well, I mean that's NFL for you. They want to make sure there's parity in the league, so it makes sense. But okay, so going on to the next matchup for tomorrow's game, which is actually going to be a really good game, I think. Which is the Carolina Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans. My pick for this game is I'm going to pick Drew Brees. Old Faithful.
Oh, faithful.
I think
Or reliable.
he is still by far a very good quarterback. They actually have a decent running game as two very good
And a solid defense.
and a very good solid defense as well too. I don't trust Cam Newton at all.
I do.
He I don't know.
He's a third and forward. He can win a game-winning drive for you. He's one of those guys. He'll scramble.
Cam Newton.
Not a Cam Newton guy either.
I'm not a Cam Newton.
I know.
fan.
See,
I think he's
you
the
agree
real
with
deal.
me too,
Yeah,
right,
I'm
Cam?
not a
he's
Cam
the real
Newton
deal.
fan.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not. But again, I'm not saying he's not a bad player. I really just don't like him.
yeah.
Personality.
Yeah.
Just don't like
I
him.
think
That's
he's too much of a diva.
Yeah.
Really, they really have nobody. I mean, Greg Olson, I think, is going to play in the game, possibly. If they give the ball to like McCaffrey on the outside, dump it off, and let him be a playmaker for them, they may have a chance. But Drew Brees, you can't really count. I mean, you can't really bet against him, and that's my thought on that as to why the Saints are going to actually win that wild card round.
I'm actually not going to pick anybody for this one because this
Oh.
this is gonna be the best one of these 4
Yeah, but
games.
you
It's gonna
have.
be fun to watch.
I agree with you.
You
I
can't
agree.
just cop out of
You
it.
I
can't-
really am. I'm gonna cop
But
out.
how
I
are
wanna
you gonna
watch this
pick?
and
How are you gonna
enjoy.
pick the divisional game though?
I'll say whoever wins out of that is gonna be. I don't care next round. I'm telling you, the NFC South is the real deal. Whoever those two teams match up with, they're gonna win the next round as well.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, there's a
I
reason
don't
why
agree
3 of the
with you on
teams
that.
are in the playoffs for this one. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, besides the AFC West a couple years ago with the Broncos, Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers, that hasn't happened that too frequently.
All right.
So I think that's gonna be a good game. I could see Cam Newton on the road leading the last drive to go ahead and win, but I'm not gonna go ahead and actually pick them. And I'm saying I could foresee that.
I mean, I think the Panthers are probably going to go. I mean, they're going in with signing their coach to an extension, so they're going into it calm. I mean, Cam Newton has a personality, and I don't like him, but he's a good player.
I think the only thing you like is probably he has the same name as you, right, Cam?
It's probably true. It's probably true. But I mean, he's a talent.
Yeah.
I just
No,
don't
he
like
is
his
talented.
personality.
I think if you look at all of these quarterbacks for these games right now,
Okay.
with an exception of, actually no, I think Cam Newton's the best right now in the fourth quarter drive because Drew Brees overall, Matt Ryan a year or two ago, but I think right now Cam Newton is just a freak athlete and also can make it done with his arm, and he's super confident. He believes himself beyond anything.
All right.
So I mean, and that's no disrespect obviously to Matt Ryan and Drew Brees. I just think Cam Newton driving down is gonna be him.
All right.
Okay, getting back, folks. I'm picking the Panthers, by the way. So it's final.
All right. Yeah. We Cam and I said you can't actually take the easy road out and take the easy out and not pick a team because it actually affects the next round.
But usually, me being so opinionated, I think it'd be fair to once in a while make me be neutral.
It's actually nice for me because it actually makes me not have to listen to you
Oh, that's cool.
and any of your opinions.
There we go. There we go.
But you were saying about the Falcons and Rams.
Yeah, so I got Falcons. Oh, yes, folks. All right, so you missed it. So if the Falcons win, then my buddy here is going to have to order a Green Bay Packers t-shirt because he's a Lions fan and go ahead and wear that next Friday. If the Rams win, then I'll order a nice Matt Stafford tee and wear that next Friday as well because there's no way.
Why do you get a T-shirt and he gets a jersey?
No, you get a t-shirt too.
Okay.
You get a
Okay.
t-shirt.
All right.
Nothing too spendy.
All right. I want to apologize to my Lions Nation out there for wearing a Packers t-shirt in case, but I promise you that I will burn it after I take it off. All right, so we're moving on to the divisional round here. We're going to go ahead and do the AFC first. So Colin he and I actually picked the Chiefs and the Bills in the wild card round, and because we picked the Bills, they're actually going to travel all the way to the Patriots and play the Patriots, where the Chiefs are going to travel all the way to Pittsburgh to go ahead and play the Steelers. So, Colin, Patriots and Bills.
First off, I love that matchup. I love conference teams playing each other in the divisional teams playing each other in the playoffs. But I'm gonna go Patriots easy. I mean, I think the whole media thing's actually gonna encourage them to kind of band together and win. with the whole Tom Brady and Bill Belichick scenario and Jimmy
I saw
Garoppolo.
Bill Belichick looking at another team today.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
too,
I
he's
heard
helping
about
his
him
assistants.
possibly going to like the Giants.
I heard that too.
You
I don't
heard
believe
that?
that.
Yeah.
I heard he's helping his assistants interview for the first time in his entire career. But
Yeah.
anyways, I say
Yeah,
Patriots.
because he's preparing himself to leave as well too. That's why I think.
No,
that's
I say Patriots are gonna beat the snot off the Bills.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I don't know
And
if
I'm
they're
not a
going
Bills
to,
hater, by the way.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, let's just say what it is as it is, it's because the Bills wouldn't even be in the playoffs
Exactly. Without Andy Dalton.
without the Cincinnati Bengals actually helping them. So I agree with you. And even though you and I picked them to move on from the wild card round, the Patriots are definitely going to hand it to the Bills
Easily.
Yeah, I think.
And then same thing with the Steelers. They're gonna run the trains off the Chiefs as well. I mean, there's no way that the Chiefs, who started off 6-0, 5-0, then just crumbled, they're gonna be able to bounce back and then hang on in Pittsburgh, a team that very well could have the best record in the NFL if they didn't get that unlucky call on Sunday Night Football. But still, I think Steelers win big, and then Steelers win Patriots.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Steelers winning. I don't know if they win big. Boy, I wish Eric Berry was playing for the Chiefs. If he was playing, they would actually have a chance because they really have a good defense.
Yeah, they
the
do.
Chiefs do. I think Shazier's out as well too.
Yeah.
For the Steelers, I believe he may not even be playing or
Yeah, I
probably
doubt
won't
he'll
even
play the
play.
rest of the year. I think if it was in Arrowhead, from just randomly, if they swap, then they
Right.
actually have a good chance.
Yeah, I agree.
But not
with you.
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They get a boost at home.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you on that. So we're taking the Patriots to win
Steelers.
and the Steelers to win in the divisional round.
Win big.
All right. Okay. So going over to the NFC side, we're actually going to go ahead and this is actually going to change a little bit because Colin and I actually are split in both games. I picked the Rams, who are then going to actually travel to play the Vikings. And then I picked the Saints, who are actually going to go to the Eagles. So my pick for those two for the two divisional rounds is I don't think the Eagles are going to actually win, unfortunately, because with Wentz out, I don't trust Foles. Even though they're playing in Philadelphia in the cold, and they have
You don't trust Nick Foles?
I don't trust him at all.
I think
I don't
he's
trust
so
him.
good.
Maybe like 3 years ago.
He's a better passer than Wentz is. He's a better passer than Wentz.
Yeah, but Wentz knows where to throw the ball. That's the difference.
That's true.
Foles, I think he holds.
So
on
does
to the
Foles,
ball.
though, I think.
Yeah. I still think.
I mean, you can both throw the ball, but one's got to hit the target.
Yeah.
I think Foles is the real deal, honestly. I think he's going to do well, and then it's going to give
Then
him
why,
a nice
if
little...
he's the real deal, then why is he not the starting quarterback in Philadelphia?
Because Carson Wentz is the real deal also, and he's young.
So you have two real deal quarterbacks in
exactly.
Philadelphia.
I mean, that happens. I mean,
I mean, it is Philly.
and
Kelly was there. He knew what he was doing at some point.
And Carson Wentz is 25, and Foles is. I heard about to retire. Actually, when I was in Philly, I was talking to one of the guys, one of the Uber drivers, who was saying that Nick Foles was planning to retire until they gave him a call and said, "Can you come back and play for us?" But anyways,
You just
I
talk
actually
football
think
with Uber drivers.
I do actually all the time. I think that Nick Foles does really well, really well,
Okay.
and this is kind of like his job interview for the rest of the league. And then someone else next year pick him up. I can see him going to maybe the Jets, who need a quarterback. I don't think the Redskins want to pay Kirk Cousins, so I can see the Redskins filling a void there. That's kind of getting off topic, but I think Nick Foles is really well with that one.
Yeah, I just think because the Saints with their running game, I know it's going to be cold weather, bad weather in Philly, but in the NFL, Colin, you and I know if you have a strong running game, you can travel very well.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the reason why, because if you're relying on Nick Foles to actually be able to throw in that cold weather, you're going to lose. I know Drew Brees. I know the Saints are a dome team, but again, they have a really solid running game, which I think can then travel. And like what we talked about earlier, they have a pretty decent defense this year as well too. But my other matchup is the Vikings versus the Rams. Who would have thought?
best teams
Who would have thought that these two
lucky teams
these
had
two teams would
easy
be
schedules to play.
number 2 and number 3 seed? But and I don't know. I think the wheels are gonna fall off on the Vikings. I just don't think the Vikings are gonna
They don't have
win
any
this.
wheels in the
Yeah,
first place.
and I don't know. Case Keenum, as good as he's been playing lately, I don't think he's. I think the wheels are actually gonna fall off in here, and the Rams are gonna go into Minnesota and win. That's my statement right there.
Yeah. For mine, I'll have the Eagles playing. Looks like the Falcons, correct? The lowest seed.
Yep.
They're your pick,
no.
man. You don't.
No, I was looking at who they match up
yeah,
with.
So you picked the Falcons, so they will be traveling to
the Eagles.
to Philly,
Eagles.
and then the Panthers will actually be going to
Okay.
the Vikings.
So with that one, I think Nick Foles plays lights out. Great game. I could see high-scoring game. I'm talking 31-28, but I see Falcons winning.
Wait.
Philadelphia.
So you see high-scoring game in bad weather.
How do you know it's gonna be bad weather? It's a week away.
It's Philadelphia.
Dude, there's
I
so
was
much
there.
snow right
I
now.
was there
It's
twice. There was
Philadelphia.
no snow. There was
What?
no
That-
snow.
Dude, have you been?
And it was actually warmer than it is here in Portland, Oregon, folks.
Dude, they have already said it's going to.
I
Be
mean, that's
bad
pretty.
weather
That's
there.
pretty nice to view it a week out. But
Yeah.
I still think those two teams are high-power offense, and I could see Nick Foles doing really well. I'm talking 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. But I think Falcons win on the road. High-scoring game with that one, and then I see the Panthers go into the Vikings.
All right, kids. This is why you do not eat paint chips when you're young, because you make crazy statements like
Like
this.
what? What is the crazy statement?
4 to 5 touchdowns.
3 to 4 touchdowns, not 5. 3 to
Okay.
4.
All right.
That's why the 28 comes in there. But and then
you're still
and then Panthers
still
go
don't eat paint chips.
Panthers. That is true. Don't eat paint chips. Then the Panthers go to Minnesota in a snooze fest. Panthers win. I think those two teams match up with a very poor offensive game, and I could see it being 20-10 Panthers. But so Panthers win and Falcons win for my NFC matchups in the next round.
Okay. Go ahead, Colin. I'm gonna go ahead and let you pick first because I've been picking first the last couple of rounds.
I think this would be a good game. Obviously, I could see it being a repeat of the one a couple weeks ago. I know it sounds boring, but I'm picking the Patriots. Nothing much to it. I think they're the best team in the NFL.
I agree with you, Colin. AFC this year, there
It's
is
diluted.
bar none, no other better team in the AFC than the Patriots, and the Patriots move on to yet another Super Bowl.
Yep. But good job, Steelers. And I can see it being a good game, like a close game. Just Patriots will just nudge it out somehow, some way.
Like a last-minute drive.
Yeah.
Tom Brady sets it up for a field goal. And
Just
they
Bill
win.
Belichick being Bill Belichick.
Exactly.
NFC though, we got it different.
Yep. So on the NFC, I
The
have
Rams.
I
don't
the
believe
Saints.
this. You have the
The
Rams.
Saints versus the Rams.
Oh my gosh, the Rams.
So I'm gonna
You're
go
not
ahead
good.
and take. I'm gonna go.
Don't you
Here's
dare
the
tell me the
surprise.
Rams.
I'm gonna take
Don't you
the
dare tell me-
Rams to the Super Bowl.
Are you kidding me?
I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams.
Thank you so much
the
for
young-
picking things now.
the young head coach that has everything to prove.
Not in year one. Not in year one. They
But-
can do it 3
but-
years from now.
Yeah,
not in
but
year one.
you know, they are going to make a splash.
No
and they're gonna say,
way.
yeah, dude.
No.
The Los Angeles Rams to the Super Bowl to play the New England.
Okay, I
Patriots
want to
in
FaceTime you.
Minnesota.
I want to FaceTime you with 2 minutes left when the Falcons play the
Yes.
Rams, and then I will
Oh,
see
you
your
and I will
face
be
when
there.
you're crying.
You and
like
I.
you
Okay, and I will post it on Instagram.
can- Okay.
I feel like we might as well just go out and like go to Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Hey,
and just-
that sounds great to
I
me
mean, it's
too,
gonna
and
be
we can
sad
do
for you because
tonight.
the Rams are gonna lose terribly.
Oh.
There's no way they're gonna the Super. You can
Oh,
make the
okay.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're gonna
Super Bowl.
They're gonna go to the Super
You're gonna be
Bowl.
the only one in the restaurant going, yeah,
Bro,
Rams,
Jared Goff.
go.
There's no
Colin,
way.
maybe
That's why.
No, but
I'm
you
not
actually think the Rams are.
Well,
the
I
good.
actually do. No,
That is
honestly,
silly.
I do think the Rams are the real deal.
No.
Um,
No.
With the matchup of how it is set up, I said the Rams going to the Vikings, winning there, and beating the Saints to go to the Super Bowl.
Jared Goff is gonna be. Sorry, Jared Goff and Sean McVay, who I have a high respect for, and they're great. They're young, but they're not as
Yeah, but you
established.
also
you
forget
think they're
about
gonna
Todd
beat
Gurley,
Drew
too.
Brees and Sean Payton after all their experience? They got 10 years of playoff experience together, almost.
That's what I'm saying.
You think they're gonna beat them?
It's
No,
it's-
not yet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Rams are good. They really are, but not this early. Not year one.
All right. Well, we won't see it until we actually
till
Watch
tonight when the
games.
Rams
Watch
lose.
the games. All right, we'll watch the games. We might even watch the
Gosh,
games.
you have the
together
Rams
tonight.
going to the Super Bowl.
We'll be at a Buffalo Wild Wings. And, we'll be watching the games.
I
just
got a
Yeah.
round table.
Oh, we can go to round table as
Yeah,
well
there
too.
we
Yeah,
go.
there we
Right,
go.
yeah.
All right. So Go ahead.
Me, the more intelligent one. I'm gonna go ahead and pick real teams that actually make it to the NFC Championship game in the first place. So I'm gonna have. Let's see, we got the Panthers and the Falcons. You're damn right, I'm cocky. I see Falcons winning against Panthers, close game. But I just see Falcons going through.
okay.
I think on the road, as I just mentioned, usually it's a force, but not in Carolina. They're not as intense to play.
So you have
I have a
a
rematch.
Super Bowl rematch.
Yes. With the Falcons sliding in. A lot of times you'll see teams that kind of slide in late. They kind of, like the Saints, I think the Saints peaked in like week 10, 11, 12. And they're kind of riding it down now. The Falcons never really peaked. They were kind of up and down and then just kind of squeaked in.
Right.
I think because of that actually helps sometimes. A couple years ago, my old boys, the Chargers, we snuck in and we beat the snot out of the Bengals, like 31-10. And I think the Falcons just get momentum. They keep going. They kind of peak towards Super Bowl. So I see rematch in last year's game.
Okay. Well, that's actually going to be the second 6th seed that's made the Super Bowl since the last New York Giants did it.
And
When they went against Patriots.
2012.
Yeah. So yeah, but hey, if you want a Super Bowl rematch, which is last year, Falcons should have won.
Yeah, and I can see them
but,
this year holding on. But there's no way the Rams go.
Wait.
There's no way the Rams
Wait,
go.
okay.
There's
So,
no way the
okay,
Rams go.
you're saying between the Patriots and the Falcons again this year, you're picking the Falcons to
Yeah.
win? Wow.
Rematch.
All right.
There's no way the Rams go. I'm tuning.
My
Witness. There's no way the Rams go. There's no way the Rams go.
my pick.
That's asinine.
I'm gonna tell you guys my pick. It is gonna be in Minnesota.
Don't dare say the Rams.
I'm gonna become a Rams fan. Just
Rams. I'm gonna quit.
Okay,
I'm gonna quit.
No.
Rams.
No.
Okay.
For me, it doesn't really matter who. It doesn't really matter who came out of the NFC. I was picking the Patriots to win the Super Bowl no matter what, anyways.
Do you think? So
the Rams are going to make it a really good, interesting game.
Oh my god.
They're going to make it a really interesting game. But the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl against the Los Angeles
You think
Rams.
the Rams make it interesting?
Yes.
Who's Cam's pick for the whole thing?
Yeah, Cam, who do you got?
dude, probably the Patriots.
You said the Rams.
That's the safest pick. That's really the safest pick.
Just going through, obviously we just talked about NFL. We're going to switch now to go to college. Talk a little bit about the playoffs, at least how it's arranged now. Maybe with the Bulls, maybe if you guys had thoughts about some of the games that happened. But then definitely talk about Alabama and Georgia coming up.
Yep. Monday night's game.
This coming Monday.
Yep.
So Christopher, why don't we start with you and a little bit of thoughts here first. Maybe just about the playoffs, how you thought it's turned out so far.
I actually am pretty upset with how the whole format is with college football and the college football playoffs. I think the committee themselves, there's a lot of bias, I think, in it. It's just, if you think about it, if we're going by strength of schedule, Alabama should have never made the Final Four. It should have been like Ohio State in there. Yeah.
And that's coming from a big Blue fan, by the way, folks. He's a diehard Michigan fan.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you expand it to 6 or 8, with 6 being
Like
the top 2
NFL?
seeds.
They get a bye?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the top 2 seeds just having a bye, and then you play it kind of like NFL format. And obviously, we're not saying like the SEC is comparable or the Pac-12 or any other division is comparable to the SEC. They're by far the strongest conference. They in the South, that's all they do is football. As well,
Clearly,
too.
with how the playoffs have turned out, Pac-12 did not show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but a lot of it is you think about all the games within the Pac-12. They really just cannibalize each other, right? They're just beating up on each other, and that's why you don't ever see like we probably won't ever see a 2-loss team ever make it into the college football playoffs because of that. But if they do expand it to like 6, then possibly we'll probably see like a 2-loss team eventually in there. I think how it should be is out of the Power 5, if you win your conference, you're automatically in, and then the 6th person can then go from like where say okay let's pick let's pick like UCF or maybe second runner off of the other
SEC.
Power 5s or SEC or something like that.
I say similar. I say 8 teams, Power 5 get automatic bids, so championship winners of that, and then 3 at large. That way you can fit in Alabama, UCF, and then throw in one more. But this year, then because then you would have had Auburn maybe 2, so you could have the total 8. You'd have Georgia, Bama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, UCF, Auburn.
Yep.
And one more.
They just shut down Clemson.
I know.
Yeah, it was bad.
I know it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that being said, let's. I'm gonna go ahead and transition in on my pick for the Monday night's game. I'm actually going to
go
pick
with Georgia. Then
I'm actually gonna pick Georgia.
This guy is crazy.
Yes.
He picked Georgia.
Dude.
And he picked the Rams.
Okay. Let me give you a reason why. Let me give you a reason why first. Okay. If Alabama ends up scoring more than, I say, 10 points, it's because their defense scored one time on defense. All right. I think that freshman quarterback, Georgia, he is pretty decent. He's not elite, but he's good. For a true freshman, he's good. Georgia has a pretty good defense as well, too.
No, they do, but it's just not Alabama.
I know, but okay.
So
what about Alabama's offense?
It's
garbage,
decent, but it's never been amazing. It's never been. They have multiple rings because of their defense. I think it's the same thing is going to stand true this one as well. I see Alabama holding them 20-3.
Oh my goodness, dude. Why are you saying 20?
20?
Yeah.
They'll get a pick 6 because the kid from Georgia's pretty good, but he throws picks now and then. They get a pick 6. And they'll just get, balls in good field position, get some punts like on their own, like 30 or 40, just drive it 30 yards, hit a field goal or 2,
20
and then a touchdown.
I'm saying it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be a really defensive game. It's going to be about 10-7.
You think Georgia beats Alabama?
Georgia's going to win.
No.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. You picked the Rams, too.
I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. Yes, I do.
He said he's picking them because their defense, is strong. Alabama's missing 2 of their starting O-line.
But Bama has 5 stars left and right, and they can easily replace it. And I don't think there's no way Kirby Smart, too, his first year, is going to be able to beat his former boss, Nick Saban, who's arguably the greatest college coach of my generation.
I agree with you that Nick Saban is probably going to go down as the best college coach
in my generation.
Yeah.
Alabama's got a lot of injuries coming into this game.
I know.
I said I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. It's like you think about it.
Georgia and Rams.
You have a fairly decent offense in Georgia. Did you see they ran that?
Is all right. But Oklahoma's defense is trash.
Oh yeah, they are garbage.
That is a Pac-12
defense. That's why that game was like really high. Mm-hmm. It was over like
48,
60, right?
45.
Yeah, it was over 60 combined. Mm-hmm. So
that's it.
Yeah.
I think it was Duck scored that in like first half.
Yeah.
Against Oregon State.
Portland State.
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
So you got Georgia winning against Alabama, and you have the Rams
going to
beating
Super Bowl,
the Falcons, and then
beating
the Vikings, and then beating the Saints, and going to the Super Bowl.
All right,
yes, sir.
What are you picking?
Bama.
All the way.
And why?
Bama, because it's the best team in college football, hands down.
Why are they number 4 then?
Because they had the loss late in the year.
But I'm saying this is that they're gonna not score on offense. Alabama. Alabama's not gonna score on offense.
I bet
if they score anything, it's probably gonna be a field goal. And if they score a touchdown, it's gonna come from the defensive side, and that's what I'm saying.
But
Georgia,
there's no way they're only get
It's a very
7
boring
points.
game
Yeah.
if it's 10-7.
I can see it being a boring
It's
game.
going to be a very boring.
Unless you're a
game.
defensive enthusiast,
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's
besides
going to
that,
be a
it's not gonna
very
be fun.
boring game. It's not. It's definitely not going to be Georgia, Oklahoma.
No.
It's not going to come. It's not going to be high scoring like that. But yeah, I think
Dude, that Oklahoma game.
That was good.
that was good. And can you believe? Oh man, it would have been such a better matchup if it was Oklahoma, Alabama.
Why?
Dude, Mayfield.
Oh, in the
Mayfield.
final?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it would have been
Because
more.
Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma's offense is more potent. I know Georgia
Right.
had a lot of points, but they had a bunch of big runs. They had just like 5 or 6 40-yard runs where just a missed
Right.
tackle. I could see
right.
Oklahoma actually putting much more of a threat into the Alabama defense.
Yeah.
Get over the Georgia pick though.
Well,
Rams.
we're gonna actually see and talk about that on Tuesday,
Ugh.
or actually we should watch that game together on Monday.
Well, here we
Against
got a bet for the NFL. He asked to wear a Packers jersey. He said you'd wear a.
All right.
Well,
I'm
okay,
shirt.
all right. Here
Well,
it goes.
what's
Here it goes,
this one
ladies
for
and
you?
gentlemen. Okay,
Michigan
here
or
it
What's
is.
this one
Here it
for
is.
you?
Okay, so if Alabama wins,
When Alabama wins. I want you to wear an Oregon Ducks bright yellow polo.
There we go.
okay,
Bright yellow
all right,
polo.
okay.
Get the
And
track
okay.
pants with
And I'll
it.
wear a Michigan.
Yeah, no.
No,
For,
no.
for
I feel
you,
like, I feel like Colin, if losing,
you,
he needs like a
he-
face
no.
paint. Like he needs to
for
face
you,
paint his whole
if
face.
Georgia
Just
wins, you're wearing Oregon State.
That's not fair.
that's just rude.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I can't do that
I'm
to
not
my
a fan.
Yeah, come on.
image.
Not a fan
But
of that.
you're saying by far you're not just saying that Alabama's
Bama
gonna
will, they'll destroy
see
them.
exactly see so the for you losing it has to be more painful.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
You gotta have him.
I'm not worried.
There you go.
You gotta
Sure.
have him fully face painted, like with OSU, like big O S and a U.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I'm down with
perfect.
anything Beaver related because they're not gonna lose.
All right, there you go. You
All
heard it right, Cam. All right,
Yeah.
you got it. We got it
We
down.
got it on
We
video.
We got it on video as well
Yeah.
too. You heard it out there. But yeah.
I mean, just think of it from a coaching standpoint too, because I mean, Nick Saban groomed him. So although he learned a lot from Nick Saban knows in the back of his mind that he can control him like this. It's his first time being here.
No,
Nick Saban's been here 15 times. Not actually the finals, but like big crucial games like this.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, quarterback for Alabama, is just decent. Just has to maintain the ball, and not turn it over. I don't see it. Too good defense. I mean, Alabama probably has 9 guys that'll leave that and go in the second or third round at least for the draft.
Right. Well, but
And they're gonna
again, if
Georgia QB will not be able to do the deal in the national title game.
all right, we'll see. We'll see. I just don't.
Defense wins
I don't-
championships.
Right, but both defenses are pretty decent.
But
Compare. Okay.
but the
so
Bama one is
okay.
a
So
huge
so here's
notch.
one. Bama's defense against Georgia's offense. Okay. So
okay,
versus Bama's
Georgia's
Georgia's
defense
defense
versus
versus Bama's offense. Which one?
I say both go to the defense.
Well,
And he's gonna turn over.
He-
He's gonna throw 1 pick six at least. And if they get on him early, if the first drive he struggles, they go 3 and out, his confidence is gonna be shot. Because
Alright.
the Alabama quarterback won't throw it to like 7 plays in. They'll just run, play.
oh well,
action.
I know they'll run, and then if they do run,
And the
they'll
offense
be-
for Alabama in big games, I feel like it's either contained or it's explosive. But
well,
either way,
it's
the
gonna be
defense
it's
gonna
gonna
play
be
well.
a defensive matchup no matter what. I think you and I both agree on that. But
Who do you think is the best hire for the Pac-12 coaches in this coaching
by far,
rotation?
Chip Kelly.
You think so?
US, yeah,
Definitely
UCLA.
not Willie Taggart.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about coming into
Yeah.
the Pac-12, right?
Yeah. Herm Edwards at Arizona State.
Oh my goodness, dude! He doesn't even know football.
Herm Edwards?
He doesn't know football. Did you hear him
What do you mean?
like explain what zone blocking is? Did you watch that?
No. Because in year 1, they'll be tough to beat. Tough. They're not going to be a conference title winner, but they're going to make every game tough. UCLA, on the other hand, will take Chip 3 or 4 years to get his guys in there. Herm Edwards can go to any team, take those guys, and just motivate them, get them going, just mentally. I mean, just playing sports, certain coaches kind of get you more than others. And Chip requires 3 years to have his guys in
Yeah,
there.
do you think Chip's
Okay.
going to go into UCLA with the mindset that he had at Oregon?
Yeah, I think he's going to run the spread.
Yeah, he's
But he-
definitely.
but he doesn't
But,
have
you
the
know,
athletes there.
everybody runs the spread now, right? I
Yeah.
mean, everybody.
But Josh
runs the
Rosen's
spread.
gone.
but
He's gonna leave.
He ran the spread and hurry up. Like,
Right.
He was
No.
fast. He had
His
small
spread
guys on the
was
field.
different than what everybody else.
It's
is
spread
running
on
around, but
steroids.
Yeah,
But,
he had very small guys just sprinting.
Yeah.
Which is not USC.
Yeah, I
No,
don't think that.
and I think, but I still think that is a very good hire, because Chip Kelly, as great as a coach he wasn't really his style of play isn't for the NFL. It's for college.
Yeah, but it's also not for many colleges. It
Right.
worked at Oregon because that's what Oregon's style.
Right,
has
but you
been
know
and
now
always
he's
is.
in California with all the available.
No,
athletes that are
but it's
down
gonna
there.
take 3 years though to get his guys.
Yeah,
He needs to recruit.
Yeah.
He needs to recruit what he wants to recruit.
yeah, but he's got the resources. I mean, in Oregon he had Nike, but you know Oregon's
Brandon
Out
Hole
here-
is less than UCLA.
yeah, and the brand.
No, I agree.
And everything, but I still think by far Chip Kelly. To
I say
UCLA.
Herm, but enough of that. Let's go to the NFL now. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and toggle through these ones.
All right, so NFL vacancies that all these jobs are actually currently available. There's actually some rumors right now in very strong rumor mills is actually with the Oakland Raiders probably possibly going to announce signing John Gruden to a multi-year 10-year $100 million deal. That's
awesome
by
for him.
far
Gonna move on the
asinine
Raiders to
for
pay him
me.
that
It's,
much.
it's amazing.
Dude, they're
It's-
gonna be making a lot of
why?
money in Vegas.
yeah, but I'm just saying.
Come on.
They're not gonna have loyal
and,
fans.
And you know, with the Raiders fan base travels. There's nothing wrong with that.
They're pretty
I'm just talking
diehard.
about the length of the. I'm not talking about. Okay, 1 year, $10 million for John Gruden.
but 10-year, $100 million.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a big
you think
investment.
about it. Even Bill Belichick doesn't even get that type.
I
of
think
money.
good move on Gruden's part though.
Yeah, it's a great move. It's a great move on him. But you know, typical Raiders, right? Typical Raiders. So, but yeah. So we're gonna actually leave out the Raiders on that.
So we're on most enticing, right? The best looking one.
Yeah, the best looking one. So Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans, Arizona Cardinals, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions,
Nope.
and then New York Giants. So who is your pick?
With all due respect to all those teams, I don't really see any of them being that valuable right away. But I'm gonna have to bow down to my guy here and say probably the Lions would be the most enticing job, just because you got a stacked offense. Honestly, it just needs to be configured in the right way. I don't think Caldwell knew how to. He needs to let Stafford throw the ball 35 times a game.
Yep.
And just do shotgun. Stafford could even run the spread. He got decent wheels if he needs to. He can at least evade defensive ends for 4 yards or 5 yards.
Yep.
And get it quick, like your first down here and there.
Yep.
So I think they need to bring in a coach that knows how to be a fire-packed offense. I could see Josh McDaniels working out well there, just because of his offensive protege, obviously in New England. But I think Lions by far would be the most explosive right away. But I could also see then. I'm not gonna lie, I could see the Giants with a couple tweaks because their defense actually was all right. They held them in games with Eli Manning being terrible and then Odell being hurt. They at least were all right. But I'd say the Lions right away.
Yeah. I'm very happy.
But I don't know who to pick though. Besides Josh McDaniels, who would you have there? If you had to pick from your actual fan perspective, who would you want to have?
I would actually
John Gruden if he was there.
no.
Not
I
himself.
wouldn't.
So,
No. I'd
Chip?
actually pick Patricia.
oh, the defensive guy
Yeah,
from.
the different guy, the
think so?
defensive guy from New England. I think we need a defensive-minded person on within the organization as a head coach. I think if they draft a running back and they have a decent running game, the Lions can definitely be.
What about
a
Jack
team
Del
to
Rio? I think he's a decent coach.
He's all right. I would rather, if not the guy from New England, Terrell Austin, who's the defensive coordinator now.
So you want a defensive guy there?
Yeah, I want a defensive guy. You know, Jim Caldwell was supposed to be like an offensive
Guru,
right?
But he's a traditional offensive guru.
Yeah.
He's not a Matt Stafford shotgun 3-play type guy.
Whatever happens, though, I do hope that they do retain Jim Bob Cooter, which is probably by far the best
name.
The best name.
So
in the NFL.
this is coming
Jim
from
Bob.
a fan's perspective. But what about you? Still pick them as the overall best one to go?
Yeah, I agree with you because they have all the pieces there.
Yeah, and the defense is solid too.
They have a nice defense.
It's not amazing, but it's solid.
Yeah, they have a solid front seven is pretty solid, and they have a really up and coming cornerback in Darius Slay as well too. But my other pick, like you, I'm not gonna say the Giants because
Don't say the Cardinals at least.
no, I'm taking the Colts because of Andrew Luck.
I think he's gonna leave though. I heard because he's a free agent, isn't he not? At the end of this year.
They're not gonna let him leave. They're probably gonna tag him. They're not gonna.
But he doesn't want to play. I heard he milked his injury a little longer than he should have. That way he could just be put on IR, not risk it.
Yeah. Well,
He's gonna break. He's already had a punctured spleen, right? Already. His offensive line is terrible.
So, yeah. They really do need a lot of help, but obviously I'm picking the teams that.
Okay, so let's say that the Raiders didn't sign Gruden already.
Mhm.
Would you still pick the Lions as the best one? Or would you pick the Raiders? I'd pick the Raiders if they didn't already had Gruden as the best team to pick from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah,
It'd
then
be
I would
close.
pick
I'd pick
Oakland
the Raiders.
because Oakland does have a defense as well too.
And they're a little younger.
And they're Derek
Carr's
Carr
the real deal.
is
he had too much hype,
he's
but he
getting
is
there.
the real deal.
Yeah. I would definitely pick Stafford over Carr though.
Right now, but
Right now.
maybe in 5 years might be a little different.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, that would be my second pick.
So you want a defensive coach though as the head coach?
I do. Because we both know defense wins championships.
Yeah.
You got to build from the inside out, which is either the offensive line or the defensive line. Because either you have a quarterback or you have a bunch of guys who can get to the quarterback, and that's how you win in the NFL.
True, but you also don't need a lights-out defense. I mean, if you look at New England, they just have a standard defense.
Yeah,
knows how
but
to
they
win
have
in crucial games.
the quarterback though.
Exactly. You have Matt Stafford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you could get an offensive guy and just kind of rely on the offense.
Yeah, that's
Just
also a
play solid
possibility.
defense.
But any offensive guys, I would pick that guy from Minnesota, Shermer, right?
Yep.
And then if I had to pick an offensive guy, I would probably go with McDaniels first.
Yeah.
And then
But to say,
Sherman.
I can see Josh McDaniels doing pretty well there.
Yeah. So that's who I would pick if I had to pick somebody who was on the offensive side.
Because when he went to Denver, they were kind of trash at the time. That's kind of hard to blame on him. I think they had who's the commentator for CBS? His last name's Sims, I think.
Chris Sims?
His son was playing as the starting quarterback for the Broncos.
No, Phil Sims.
Yeah.
Talk about Phil Sims.
I think his son then is named Chris Sims.
It's Chris Sims, yeah.
Who
Yeah,
is
Phil Sims.
trash.
Yeah.
And I remember that's who he had to work with. So I could see him any kind of guy.
Well, when
catch
he was
himself.
there, remember they drafted Tim Tebow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sign.
That was terrible.
No, but I still like Tim Tebow. His last start, it was a playoff win.
Yeah. Did you?
And
Did
doesn't
you
get a
also?
chance.
Did you also do the Tebow?
No, I watched the way he
Did
played.
you also
Yeah.
do the Tebow as well too? Did
The
you know
throw?
No, did you know what the Tebow was?
Oh, the knee. And who'd you rather have, him or Bortles?
Okay, I would take Tim Tebow.
There we go. See? Because he could 3rd and 6, and he would do some sort of funky, would be a screen, and then run out on his own and hit a slant route. Like, he can win games. He's a gamer.
All right, which team do you think is going to be the worst?
Of these?
Of these to pick? The worst option?
I think the Cardinals. Cardinals are terrible.
Well, they're old.
And they have nothing. They have nothing. They have a decent defense that's getting old, too.
Yeah.
It was good a couple years ago. Patrick Peterson and Matthew, that's about it.
I would pick the Chicago Bears.
I think
as the worst.
I think the Bears would.
Yeah.
Bears could be all right.
The Bears.
I think Trubisky's a pretty decent quarterback.
Yeah, but
And they have a good fan base. I just think the Cardinals it's just not it wouldn't be a fun place to coach. From a coach perspective. But I think the Cardinals are absolutely awful.
well, one is that they're a really old team.
Yeah.
And I think Fitz is probably going to retire
Phoenix
after this
is
year.
old.
Yeah. And
Palmer just retired.
Palmer is out. And then
They have nothing. They have no
Stanton
weapons.
there.
Peterson's 95 years old.
Yep.
They have no. David Johnson isn't that good of a running back. I'm sorry. He's a stats guy because they just run the ball 40 times a game, so he ends up getting a lot of yards. But I don't think he's actually that good of an actual athlete.
Yeah, but I think organization-wise, I think I would rather go Arizona rather than
Chicago.
Yeah,
I picked Chicago because of the organization.
no, terrible.
Good fan base. You got a young quarterback that has a chance. You're known for having a good defense, although the past couple years has been a little on the
Very
flip side.
Terrible.
They
Have no receivers.
Yeah, but neither do the Cardinals. At least you have a quarterback that you have a chance with. NFL, that's the one key position is having a decent quarterback.
Yep, I agree.
And Trubisky's all right.
Right.
He's not amazing, but he's all right. He's a better version of Tim Tebow.
Right. Okay.
All right, so our
All
top one is the Lions. I'd say we agree.
Yes,
Kinda
Lions.
right now.
Yeah,
Worst
definitely
one
Lions.
to go for is either Cardinals
Detroit
or
Lions.
Browns.
I say Lions and Giants. Close.
Yep.
Bears. All right.
All right. Cool.
Perfect.
There's no way the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl, by the way, folks. They're going to lose tonight. Easily.
All right.
Handily.
Okay. Well,
And
thanks
Georgia?
everybody for tuning in to the Thoughts Rain podcast, and this is again our very first
First of
podcast.
many.
We are very happy, and these are actually going to come out weekly as well too. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and also hit that thumbs up button as well too. And feel free to go ahead and leave any comments and let us know what you thought about our very first podcast. And stay tuned to our next week, and we'll go ahead and announce as well too on our website as to what our next episode is going to be. So go ahead and check out our website at thoughtsrain.com. And if you have any show ideas or anything like that, just feel free to go ahead and shoot us an email as well too, or just post it on our website, or even put a comment as well too on the YouTube channel. So once again, thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank you and good night.
Rams are going to lose tonight.